Hello everyone, you are welcome to Easy Tech Academy. You are welcome. Alright, so we are launching of our first mobile online class, which is mobile chip level course semester one. Okay, alright, so the admission is open to join Easy Tech Academy premium class. Okay, the main focus of this class is sport finding. So that's sport finding master class. Okay. And in this class, we are going to cover some course. Okay. So first, we are going to cover the multimeter master class. So the Bonio schematics reading foundation. Okay. We are going to cover the DC machine fault finding pro class. Okay. And also we are going to cover USB meter fault finding pro class, and student also will obtain how to use AutoPort knowledge for fault finding. Okay, all right, so guys, these are the course we are going to cover under the semester one. So each class is a course on its own, okay, that we are going to cover under the semester one class. So the admission is open to join. All right, so now let's go into the syllabus of each course you want to cover under the semester one. All right, okay. All right, so the first course we are going to cover under the semester one is multimeter master class. Okay, so in this we are going to go in deeper on how to use your multimeter. So in this, student will be skillful on how to use multimeter. Okay, all right, so multimeter has a level. We have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. Okay, so in this class I'm going to take you from the basic to advanced level. So multimeter is beyond how you know it. Okay, so we have advanced level of using a multimeter, and it's very compulsory for you as a level technician to have a knowledge and skillful on your multimeter. In fact, very compulsory. Even in this class, we are going to know that multimeter is our sense as a technician. Okay, so multimeter is beyond than the common function we know it. The common function we all know multimeter is for testing components, but I'm telling you that multimeter is more beyond than that. Okay, so student is going to obtain a professional knowledge and advanced level of using multimeter. All right, so now let's see the syllabus we are going to cover under the multimeter master class. Okay, so first of all, we are going to know about the introduction of multimeter and the types. Okay, all right, so that's very compulsory. And also we are going to know difference between the auto range and manual digital multimeter. Okay, and also multimeter section. Okay, so that's the beginning of understanding your multimeter. So you are going to understand the section of multimeter. All right, and also method of testing. Okay, method of testing on a mobile phone. So we are going to cover that topic also. And student also we have a pure knowledge on what we call code testing. So code testing and the aspect of using it on mobile phone board repairing. Okay, all right, so also how to check the board condition with multimeter, whether it's half shots or full shots. Okay, all right, so in continuation we also try to know about what we call hot testing. Okay, hot testing. All right, so the next is a GR tracing universal method. So this is when we are getting into the advanced level of multimeter. So this topic is very sweet topic. Okay, very sweet topic. So that's the advanced level of using multimeter. So these are the professional topic. Okay, GR tracing universal method. All right, so now the next one is another professional one, an advanced level of using multimeter is board tracing with multimeter. Okay, you are going to dig deeply inside this topic. All right, so and student is going to enjoy this area very well. Okay, and also lastly we are going to know how to test the SMD component. Okay, So you know how to test the SMD component in the right way. So like resistor, capacitor, diode, okay, all those SMD components. So you know how to test it in a right way. You understand? All right. So this is the topic we are going to dig deeply inside in multimeter masterclass. All right. So guys, this class will be covered with theory and practical. Okay. So that's the best way of imparting knowledge. Okay. So whatever you learn in theory, so we are going to show you in practical. All right. Okay. So let's move to the next course we are going to cover under the semester 1. All right. Okay. So the next one we are going to cover under the semester 1 is called Bonnier Schematics Reading Foundation. All right. So what happens is that this class is not that it's mainly based on Bonnier schematic software only. No. So just that we are going to use a Bonnier schematic software in the class, but whatever you receive, the foundation building of schematics reading. So whatever you receive, the knowledge you will receive in this class, you will be able to handle any schematics knowledge of your choice. Okay, just that you just make use of Bonnier schematics, but the schematics foundation is not different, so you can be able to handle any schematics. Okay, so foundation is very important. You can't bypass a foundation. Okay, so and when your foundation is strong, okay, so in order to tackle a fault and trace a schematics will be convenient for you. You understand? Okay, so it's just like a word that when you are trained hard, you will fight easy. Okay, so foundation is very important. So in this class, I'm going to build your foundation on how to read a schematics diagram. So let's see what the syllabus that will be covered inside this Bonnier schematics reading foundation. Okay, all right. So now let's look into it one after the other. All right, so class 1, in class 1, so we are going to cover what we call schematics and its utility. Okay, you will know about the schematics and how to utilize it. Okay, also the layout and its utility. Okay, so the bitmap and its utilities. So for the class 2, we're going to cover what we call data sheet and its utility. Okay, so also the IC compatibility. So there is one aspect on schematics we call IC, to search for IC compatibility. Okay, so guys, I'm in that class, I'm going to take you more advanced, you know, in how to use the IC compatibility in some ways, so that will help you as a board level technician. So there is one special knowledge I prepare for the students, okay, that will help them in that aspect. All right, okay, so that's what we are going to cover on class 2. So let's move forward. All right, so in class 3, we are going to cover the SMD components. So now we are now reaching the real basic of schematics reading. Okay, so the SMD components, so like diode. Okay, so knowing its function, so its function, that is the working principle. Okay, types, the symbol and identification and location. So you will be able to identify its symbol, identify its position, so on schematics, and able to locate it both on schematics and real board. Okay, so these are the foundation of schematics. All right, so the next is the transistor. Okay, also the function or the working principle, the types, the identification and the location. Okay, how to locate it on schematics and how to locate it on the real board. Okay, you also know the working principle. All right, so also the next one is a resistor. Okay, resistor, so its function, types, symbol, identification and location. Okay, also the coil or inductor. Okay, also known as inductor. So we are going to know about its function, type, symbol, identification. So on schematics and on a real board. Okay, all right. So and also the working principle. So we also know about the capacitor. Okay, its function, type, symbol, and identification, and also the location on schematics. Okay, and also the crystal. Okay, its function, symbol, identification, and location. So what is the working principle of crystal? Okay, so whenever you find it on the board, what is the work? What is the major role of crystal on the board, and the symbol on schematics, how to identify it and how to locate it. Okay, all right. So I'm telling you this SMD component. So if you don't know how to if you don't know their working principle, their types, their symbol, how to identify them on schematics and locate them. So to read the schematics will be very difficult for you. Okay, all right. So that's what we are going to cover in this class. Okay, and also in class 4 we are going to cover what we call voltage divider circuits. Okay, also we are going to cover the primary and secondary section. Okay, so in this primary and secondary section, that's when you are going to understand the architecture of mobile board that is coming out today. So we are going to understand the different primary and secondary section that they come with. Okay, so we have the first pattern. Okay, the first pattern of primary and secondary section. So we also have the second pattern. Okay, and the latest. Okay, so whenever you see any board, board before you, will be able to identify the pattern of the primary and secondary section. Okay, of that type of mobile phone. Okay, and we also have the latest one. All right, so everything will be covered. Okay, also you will know the primary and secondary voltage. Okay, all right. So guys, this is what we are going to cover under the bonus schematics reading foundation, and I'm telling you that we are going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. All right. Okay, so let's move to the next one we are going to cover. Okay, we are going to cover what we call DC machine fault finding pro class. So guys, in this class, if you lack knowledge on how to use your DC machine, or you are still intermediate, or you have not really good on how to use your DC machine, so please relax. This is the time for you to understand your DC. Okay, all right. So from beginner to advanced. All right, so you understand how to use your DC machine to judge a problem on mobile phone. So you understand the DC machine like a pro. Okay, and the voltage injection knowledge. Okay, fault finding with DC and short removing knowledge. Okay, all right. So let's see the syllabus we are going to cover under this class. Okay, all right. So now let's look into the syllabus one after the other. Okay, so class 1 we are going to go into DC power supply introduction. Okay, so that's when you are going to know how to set up your DC power supply. So in DC introduction, you also know the types of DC power supply and the one you actually need, okay, to have as a mobile chip level technician. Okay, all right. So class 2, we are going to go into DC reading identification. So very compulsory. Okay, whenever any reading display on your DC power supply, you must able to identify that this is the type of reading, that is displayed. So in that case, you will know the actual port that the mobile phone have. So we start with DC reading identification. All right. Okay, so now class 3, I'm going to cover what you call phone current booting sequencing. So phone current boot sequencing with DC power supply. All right, so when you understand the boot current, okay, in that case you will know the communication, the current stage and the components that they are communicating at that time. So when you understand the phone current booting, so this is the intermediate of knowing how to use the DC reading to judge which section is faulty. All right, so now we are going to cover in class 4 that the universal reading. So there is the universal reading whereby you have to know, okay, that govern any reading that display and able to tell that this is the section that is faulty. Okay, that's universal reading. Okay, that's general. You know, when you call something universal, that's general rules. Okay, but there is another reading we are going to share in this class, which is a special one from universal reading. Okay, special and related. Okay, so that come from the experience. All right, so that's class 5. So we are going to cover what we call DC reading. So in that DC reading, that will come from experience 1. Okay, so whenever you see this type of reading, you know that that's the common problem that usually happen, and what are the sections that is common that usually cause this problem. Okay, so from experience. All right, okay, and also you are going to know the trick for checking if CPU, eMMC, PMIC is good, or charging IC. So if they are in okay condition. So there is one trick I'm going to share to you in the class. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. There are some reading that they are so confused that they will confuse you, they will play you, but you need a troubleshooting step, okay, to know the particular components you have to lay your hand on. Okay, so the reading, there are some reading that you need to take a troubleshooting step, so to know whether is it the CPU that is not communicating, is it eMMC that is faulty, is it the PMIC. So I will tell you the troubleshooting step. What are the things you have to test, okay, to identify if any one of these is faulty. Okay, so in that case we call it a pro trick. All right, now in class 6, okay, we are going to cover what we call DC voltage injection knowledge. Okay, so you cannot just inject voltage anyhow on mobile PCB, so you have to have the knowledge behind it. Okay, so in this we are going to obtain the voltage injection knowledge, and not only that, so usually we use voltage injection knowledge to find a short, okay, on mobile PCB, but I'm going to teach you and expose some secret that behind this voltage injection knowledge to troubleshoot a fault. Okay, all right, so when we meet in class, you understand. All right, so in class 7 we are going to cover what we call short removing pro trick. Okay, so whether it's push short, whether it's half short, so I'm going to expose the method of removing a short when you have a short, a board that is short. So I'm going to show you the method of removing the short. Okay, all right, so guys, so when we meet in class, you will obtain this quality knowledge. Okay, all right, so now let's move to the next one we have. Okay, so the next one is called 6-port USB charger port finding pro class. Okay, all right, so in this class we are going to know the arms reading for judging ports. Okay, the arms reading of USB charger, okay, to judge a port, to know which section is faulty. You know, the main focus of our class is fault finding. Okay, so we are going to obtain the fault finding skill, all right, with all these tools. Okay, so you are all these things work together. Okay, so when you know how to use your USB meter reading to judge a problem, so you compare it with DC reading, and when you compare both together, okay, so you now know the section you are going to work on. All right, so we used both together, the USB reading, the DC reading. Okay, so guys, we are going to obtain a quality knowledge on how to use 6-port USB charger to find a fault. Before you join this class, so what are the things you need to know and ready for before joining this class. Okay, so I want you to know this before you join EasyTech Premium class. Okay, all right. So now, and what are the things you have to ready to get before joining the class? All right, so let us look them one after the other. Okay, so first of all, you have to know this, that this class will be held on Telegram. Okay, so in that case, it is compulsory for you as a student who want to join the class to get a Telegram account, okay, before joining. All right, also the class duration will be 1 month, so the class is already started now. Okay, so now when you join the class, so the lecture have already started. Okay, all right. So and ready for assignment. Okay, assignment will be given to you in the class. All right, and also this class will contain the video plus the lesson and the notes, so plus interaction. Okay, whereby you are able to answer, you are able to give a question and I will be able to answer you. Okay, you are going to speak your mind about whatever you learn in the class, and you are going to receive the answer. So there will be an interaction in the class. All right, okay, so let's see what next. Okay, so what next is the student support package. Okay, so what are the support package you are going to receive as a student of EasyTech Academy, okay, for joining this class? So first of all, the student will receive the manual. Okay, there's a manual designed for you as a student, which is also used in this class. Okay, so it's what I'm going to use to teach you. All right, so the first offer you are going to receive is all this manual. So the Multimeter manual, Multimeter Masterclass manual. So these are professional ebook manual. Okay, all right, so because all these ebook are very important for you. Okay, so for example, like DC manual. Okay, so maybe you are working on a mobile phone and you see some reading that they are confusing, whereby you need to know what to do next. So you just go back into your manual and check the reading. You check the chapter that fix your problem. Okay, so that's why this manual will be released to you. Okay, so they are professional ebook manual. Okay, so but this is the offer you are going to receive as a student. Also the USB meter reading. Okay, the meter reading manual, you are going to receive that also. And also what you are going to receive, which is the offer 2, is that you are going to be adding. Okay, immediately you join the class, you'll be adding to the live Telegram support group. Okay, so EasyTech Academy did not forget a student after the training, so we come back as a family. Okay, so we come back as a family. Okay, so in this live Telegram support group, you are going to get my full attention. Okay, whenever you have a challenges when you post here, so the other students will assist you. I personally also assist you. Okay, in that case, you get my full attention as a premium student. Okay, all right, so we'll be adding to the live Telegram support group, and this group also will be the question and answer group for our ongoing class. Okay, all right, so guys, so that's that about that. So the admission is open, so join now in 50% of discount. So to join now, for now, I mean now is 50% of discount. So the class is open. This course is open not by the original price. Okay, so but as we are moving deeper inside the class, so the price will be changing. Okay, so back to the original price. All right, so the admission is open for you to join. All right, so if you want to join, so that's my contact. So contact me on the EasyTech Academy official WhatsApp number. Okay, if you are ready to join, or you want to make a consultant about the class. Okay, so message me on display WhatsApp number. Okay, all right, so now this is where we are going to end. Okay, all right. So if you want to join, contact me on WhatsApp. All right. So love you guys. Bye.